Nobody. Absolutely nobody. The Straw Hats? Luffy's the man who will become the Pirate King. We don't hate it though. Some of our favorite moments in the story, it's from those things. It's from them saying that. Can you remember every time a Straw Hat has said that? Also, has every Straw Hat said this at some point already? Some trivia for the day. Anyway, we're here. 11 chapters away from chapter 1000. It's actually a really huge deal that One Piece has made it this far, but I won't be sentimental. Let's just wait till we get there, and for right now, dive into One Piece chapter 989. So, some of you have requested that I give my thoughts on the cover page, and because I love you oh so much, reluctantly I shall. Okay, so volume 33 of this story, and the last chapter, Pound was giving chase to Capone and his family, and Oda also confirmed that Pound does not have the apple juice devil fruit, so that was really exciting. But I suppose for these people to believe him, he needed some proof, and to his credit, he had some, and honestly it was a bit difficult to make out, but for sure, we see the biggest of moms, Prometheus, and the children. And after that, it's a bit weird because I see a foot. I guess it's that Big Mom kicking Pound out. I don't know. If you guys can make it out, just let me know in the comment section, but it was just really weird. I had mentioned before that this could have some Wano implications, but it's really simplistic, right? I just believe that we could have a supernova reunion in Wano. It feels like there are too many of them there for it not to happen. You may ask what the motive is. Well, Pound and the kids could get their revenge on the biggest of moms, and Capone's fetish is taking the heads of powerful individuals. We can kill a Big Mom with 2 bullets if they all proceed to Wano. I kid, because we all know it'd take a lot more than that, but still, it would be nice to see. This arc being a supernova reunion is also perfect because post time skip sometimes parallels pre-time skip, where certain arcs mirror things that happened or things that we've experienced before. The best example of that is Dressrosa and Alabasta. I mean, could Onigashima be the defeat of the Alliance? That's a very popular theory right now, and honestly, the title of this chapter and things that transpired in this chapter has been making me a bit anxious. Things are going well, but maybe a bit too well. And also we have cryptic dialogue. What do you guys think? But anyway, we've lingered long enough. Let's get to this chapter. Now, Big Mom, as we suspected, we as in me, because a lot of people were speculating that Lin could be back just because Frankie ran over Big Mom. I had mentioned in previous videos, and even more so, my extended thoughts on the topic will be in the description box down below. And in this video, I talk about Big Mom and how we should probably stop overreacting every time something happens to her. More on that later. Luffy initially did not want to leave to go after Kaido because he was worried about Big Mom, and he was worried that she would follow him to the rooftop. And obviously that would make things worse for not only him, but Kinemon and the others. But once Luffy's crew arrived, he immediately left and he put his trust in them so that he could go support Kinemon and the others. Now, is this a bad thing? Not at all. This is showing to me that as much faith as the Straw Hats have in Luffy, he has in them. Before we get deeper into that topic though, we must address Odin, or what we know her as, Yamato. Yamato is fine. I like her, but her pretending or identifying as Odin completely catches me off guard sometimes. I'm just vibing, reading the chapter, then all of a sudden I see Yamato say to Shinobu and Momo, "Hey, don't worry, I'm Odin. I'll protect you." You don't even know these people. It's comedy gold, but especially based on the reactions of Shinobu and Momonosuke, it's weird, but okay, here's another perspective. Should this be deemed disrespectful? Hear me out. Imagine losing your father, and in Shinobu's case, somewhat of a hero, and then suddenly a random woman approaches you and tells you that she's now your deceased parent and friend. You can understand being influenced by him, but taking on his identity? That is just identity theft, Yamato. I'm sure Shinobu and Momo will come around and come to like Yamato once they get to know her, but it's starting to get a bit weird. The Straw Hat combo moments have been great, but it seems like the only person who is super worried about Big Mom is actually Jinbe. I mean, he's obviously been around her and knows how threatening she can be, but interestingly enough, Jinbe's last actual interaction with Big Mom is pretty much still a mystery, and some, like myself, I'm kind of holding out hope that at least some of Jinbe's crew died or got really hurt, because upon Jinbe's arrival, he said that they were okay, but that wouldn't be the time to say, "Hey Luffy, while holding off the Big Mom pirates, a lot of my friends got incinerated by Prometheus." Yeah, it just wouldn't work, but we have to wait and see. Big Mom at this point also seems to be enraged, so things are picking up, but the Straw Hats are literally evolving right before our very eyes. Before that though, we must address Hyogoro and I think his future. He had an unusual amount of panel time this chapter. Not saying he shouldn't have it or have any, but it caught my eye. It seems like they're prioritizing taking out the Flying Six from this point forward to have their impact felt even more, but this makes me nervous. Could Hiyaguro meet his end to the Flying Six? If I had to pick one, it would probably be Where's Who, formerly known as Who's Who, because we have no idea where the fuck he is. Not saying it's set in stone for Old Man Hio to die, but it is a bit eerie. One thing I do have to give Big Mom credit for though is her persistence. Big Mom being a Yonko is not surprising because she does not give up. I mean, from creatures to her collection, to specific food she would like to eat, to husbands she would like to have babies with, it's like a next level of arrogance. But I suppose this has always been the case, because Jigra suffered consequences for not attending Big Mom's frivolities. I mean, that doesn't matter to the Straw Hats though, because in the face of an enraged Big Mom, the Straw Hats are relatively okay. Nami did attempt to remind Franky about Big Mom's title and that it should be respected, but Franky had to remind Nami of the title that their captain is chasing. It's funny because I was always adamant that Luffy was absolutely not a Yonko because of various reasons, one being strength, and honestly at this point, I don't think it really matters because Luffy is definitely a Yonko, and his crew is proving that. We'll talk about that at some point, but wow. I mean, hearing the Straw Hats talk about Luffy becoming Pirate King is always great, but this one really hit home. It felt really good because this is on the heels of Luffy feeling good enough to walk away from Big Mom knowing his crewmates could handle it. So as I mentioned before about Luffy believing in his crew, they believe just as much in him, if not more so, obviously, and this moment I believe showed that perfectly. The Straw Hats, while they all aren't equal and have various rules on the crew, Luffy cannot and will not become Pirate King without them. He just refuses. So to see just how much they support and believe in him, oh boy, we've come a very long way. And this is on the heels of Whole Cake Island as well. When you think about all that together, it really hits home. Quickly to Sanji in his suit. Speaking of Whole Cake Island, it seems like he hates the fact that the suit is so durable because it reminds him of his past. Am I too weak? Why do I need them? Do I need them? We know it's a struggle, and he's seemingly overcome it, but he does not want to wear it any longer than usual due to his disdain for his family, except Reiju, but he also wants to save his friends. You gotta love Sanji, always a complex character, and I think these emotions are not things you can easily overcome, but I think he's putting on a front for his friends, but he really does not want to wear the suit, but he needs the strength, and I think that's something that bothers him. One would say, well, just get good, get stronger. Everyone can't be Monkey D, all right? Everyone doesn't operate that way. Moving on, the numbers finally make an appearance. And we've seen glimpses of them throughout the war, or throughout the arc, I should say. But now, not only do we get a full beast reveal, we get some lore as well, and this lore is juicy. The numbers are failures from the experiments in Punk Hazard trying to recreate the ancient giant race. Now, when you think of the ancient giant race, of course we think of Oars, the continent puller, who wreaked havoc on the seas 500 years ago. This is significant for so many reasons. For one, there's a giant skull that resembles the ancient giant race in Onigashima, and Marco also hinted that at one point it was called a different name. What is he talking about? Another is the reintroduction of the gigantification plotline that was introduced with Big Mom. So it's interesting that she was the one who mentioned all of this because this could lead somewhere. And last but not least, we've seen this before. In Punk Hazard, Smoker and his guys mentioned a huge incident that took place 4 years prior from when we arrived. From when we were there, I guess. And then when the Straw Hats arrived to Punk Hazard, it was sealed off, but there was a noticeable skull again, along with the Marines logo and the World Government logo. This is really peculiar because then in Punk Hazard, there were things in the ice, and that's where Moria found Oars. Anyway, guys, this goes a bit deep. It goes really deep, and the tentacles are real with this one, but I guess you should look out for the video because I'm going to talk about Onigashima and the possible previous name. But either way, this was amazing information to reveal about the ancient giant race, as this could get us a bit closer to the truth. Back to Big Mom though. After Franky takes out a number with the radical beam, Big Mom relaxes a bit because she thought, she could take advantage of them. And here comes Jinbe and Robin for the perfect combination encounter. Now, we can't forget Big Mom still has an insane grudge against Jinbe, and it's gotten to the point that Jinbe is on Big Mom's shit list. I mean, I was waiting for this interaction to try to discern something, but it seemed normal for the most part. I mean, I guess all of Jinbe's crew did survive. One thing that's clear to me based on everything that's going on is that the Straw Hats are pretty much unstoppable when they're together, and they're so versatile, it's unfair. People are still baffled that a former warlord is working with this crew. And from Jinbe in particular, this is an example of how important he is and how much he will be going forward. I really love Franky, and I really Love the Straw Hats. So with Luffy trusting in his crew, he is headed upwards. Zoro attempted to go with him, but they were shut down by Queen. It's funny, when Zoro was just casually chilling on the roof with Queen, I'm sure a lot of people were thinking of Kaku. Well, not a lot of people. Specific people were thinking of Kaku, in which he's not a traditional swordsman, but he could fight. Queen is kind of the same way, but even more than that, they're odd animals with long necks. Right? And people are kind of running with that. I just thought that was hilarious and tells a story about the community. We will try to connect any and everything. I love us. So Luffy and Zoro, they're stopped by Queen, which makes sense, and King is flying above to protect his captain, I'm assuming, or rather just reconnaissance, looking for Momo. And again, Old Man Hio's confidence in the alliance, it scares me. His words compounded with everything seemingly going well, it scares me, man. It really does. Now we know what the best part of the chapter was. The Straw Hats spread. Seeing them all together, how far they've come. It's been so long and Jinbe has officially joined the crew. So this really made me happy. It made me reflect, honestly, and think about just how far we've come. From the islands we've been to, from the time skip to New World, to people that we've lost. The Straw Hats are really not to be played with. Period. But that's it, guys. How did you feel about the chapter? I thought it was a very good chapter. It got better literally every time I read it. I really can't wait for next week. There's no break, so that's exciting. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about it? Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BroggerDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BroggerD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Man, the Straw Hats, they're evolving. They're not that far. They're really not that far because they're doing their thing here in Onigashima. Thank you guys so much again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.